I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
Telling the truth in the WNBA? That'll run you $500. Just ask Sophie Cunningham. The Indiana Fever guard is learning firsthand that honesty has a price, and her bold response is sending shockwaves through the basketball world. It all started with a TikTok post. Just 3 words. That's all it took to ignite a firestorm of debate. Aimed squarely at the officiating, those words sparked immediate attention, and a fine. Now, fans, analysts, and players alike are diving into the controversy. Was it worth the cost? Or did Cunningham just say what others are too afraid to? In just a matter of hours, Sophie Cunningham's video exploded, racking up over 1.2 million views across TikTok. The internet couldn't look away. But the league definitely noticed too, and they weren't amused. Within days, the WNBA hit her with a $500 fine, making it clear that calling out officiating, even subtly, comes with consequences. The message? Speak out, and you'll pay up. But Cunningham's not backing down, and now the spotlight's even brighter.
Sophie Cunningham reveals she's fined $500. First of all, fine $500 is absolutely hilarious, by the way.
What happened next caught everyone off guard. Sophie didn't issue an apology. She didn't walk it back or try to smooth things over. Instead, she came out swinging, and what she said has league officials scrambling for cover while fans rally behind her with growing intensity. This isn't just a $500 fine anymore. It's become a flashpoint in a much bigger battle, a league seemingly at odds with its own athletes. Cunningham's defiance pulled back the curtain on a painful truth. The WNBA appears more focused on shielding referees than standing behind the very players keeping the league alive and relevant. The TikTok that sparked this uproar? On the surface, it looked harmless. No rants, no foul language, no direct accusations. Just 3 loaded words, at some refs. But coming from Sophie Cunningham, known for her grit on the court and zero-filter attitude off it, the league saw enough in those words to hit the panic button. The video didn't just trend, it exploded. It hit social media like a lightning strike. Fans flooded the comment sections, echoing what they'd been yelling at their screens all season long. Finally, someone had said it out loud. Likes, shares, duets, the engagement numbers went wild. Cunningham had gone viral not for a flashy highlight, but for telling the truth. And while fans saw authenticity, the WNBA saw a problem. Rather than embrace the moment as an organic connection with its audience, the league treated it like a disciplinary issue. Instead of capitalizing on the attention, they reached into the rulebook and slapped her with a fine. The message? Keep quiet, or pay up. Then came the turning point. When Sophie got the fine notice, she didn't fold. She didn't delete the video. She didn't play it safe, and if you know Sophie Cunningham, you know that's never been her style. She doubled down. On social media, she posted, "I got fined $500 for this TikTok," punctuated with laughing emojis, a clear sign she wasn't backing off. But it was the line that followed that really sent shockwaves through the basketball community. "EDK, why this is funny to me. Like, okay, you got it, bud. 'Cause there's not more important things to be worried about with our league right now." That sentence? It landed like a sledgehammer. Here was a player, just hit with a financial penalty, openly questioning the league's priorities, and doing it with unmistakable sarcasm and fire. It wasn't just bold. It was fearless. Cunningham didn't just react, she challenged the entire system. And in doing so, she may have sparked a conversation the WNBA can no longer afford to ignore.
Obviously they can't fine anymore. She's only making $100 grand, and like $500 when you're making $100 grand is a lot of money, in fairness.
The timing couldn't be more impactful, or more problematic, for the WNBA. This is supposed to be a breakthrough era for the league. Thanks to stars like Caitlin Clark drawing unprecedented mainstream attention, the WNBA is experiencing a surge unlike anything in its history. TV viewership is up, arenas are filling fast, and sponsorship dollars are pouring in from major brands eager to ride the wave. This should be a golden chapter, a celebration of growth, momentum, and cultural relevance. But instead, the league is busy penalizing one of its most magnetic personalities for simply connecting with fans in real time. While brands are spending millions to capitalize on the league's rising social media engagement, the WNBA is busy slapping fines on the very athletes fueling that momentum. The irony? It's beyond obvious, and frankly, hard to ignore. Sophie Cunningham's $500 TikTok pulled in over 1.2 million views. That kind of reach isn't just impressive, it's marketing gold. Most digital campaigns hope to reach that level of buzz, and here it was, happening organically, authentically, and for free. It lit up conversations, kept the WNBA in headlines, and pulled fans deeper into the story. And the league's response? A fine, like handing someone a ticket for throwing a successful party. And this isn't Cunningham's first rodeo when it comes to league discipline. Just weeks ago, she was fined $400 for a flagrant foul and hit with additional penalties for her involvement afterward. There's a clear pattern here. Her fierce style of play and outspoken personality don't sit comfortably with league leadership. But here's the twist. While the WNBA keeps cutting checks for disciplinary fines, Sophie's brand is skyrocketing. Her TikTok following is growing at warp speed. Her content engagement? Through the roof. She's fast becoming one of the most recognizable WNBA players online, not because the league is pushing her, but because she's owning her voice and fans are loving it. So that $500? It's not a punishment. It's a minor speed bump on the highway to massive personal brand success. And fans see it for what it is. Social media lit up with support for Sophie and harsh criticism toward the WNBA. Hashtags like #LeagueProtectsRefs started trending, giving voice to growing frustration about where the league's priorities really lie. Cunningham didn't just go viral, she sparked a movement. And the WNBA may have underestimated just how loud that echo could become.
These referees are just gone out of control and like they're putting players in danger.
It didn't take long for this story to break out beyond the WNBA bubble. Pretty soon, voices from across the sports world, former athletes, analysts, and big-name influencers, were all weighing in. The question echoing across timelines and broadcasts was simple: why is the league punishing a player for such a tame comment? What started as a fine quickly evolved into a bigger debate, one that cuts across all sports. It's about the freedom athletes have to speak their minds, and the tight grip some leagues still try to maintain on their public image. Sophie Cunningham's situation turned into a lightning rod for that conversation. And here's what makes this even more powerful: Sophie isn't just some benchwarmer trying to grab attention. She's a major presence on one of the WNBA's hottest teams this season. The Indiana Fever, currently sitting at an even 12-12, have been must-watch TV. And it's not just because of Caitlin Clark. It's also because of players like Sophie, who bring grit, edge, and real emotion to the game. She's carved out a unique role on this squad, the enforcer, the one who isn't afraid to step in, set the tone, and stand her ground when tensions rise. While others might shy away from conflict, Sophie leans in. And when Caitlin Clark needed backup in heated moments on the court, Sophie was the first one there. That kind of presence goes beyond stats, it's culture-defining. She's part of the reason fans are tuning in, why games feel electric, and why the Fever have become one of the most talked-about franchises in the league. So when a player like that speaks out, not with rage or profanity, but with raw honesty, and the response is a fine, it doesn't just raise eyebrows. It raises serious questions about what the league really values.
Honestly, I felt like Sophie might have wanted a piece of JC after the Caitlin Clark.
When the Indiana Fever needed fire, Sophie Cunningham brought the heat. When fans wanted honesty about inconsistent officiating, Sophie didn't hold back. And for that, she got fined. Again. But this time, the stakes feel different, because this isn't just a player taking a hit. It's a growing clash between league control and player expression, with far-reaching consequences. There's another layer here, the economics. WNBA salaries, while improving, still lag far behind other pro leagues. For many athletes, a $500 fine isn't just symbolic, it's real money. Yet in Sophie's case, her rapidly expanding online presence has changed the equation. Her fearless authenticity is turning into a brand powerhouse, generating value that easily outweighs any league-imposed penalty. And that's what makes this moment so potent. Sophie Cunningham's boldness, both on the court and online, has turned her into a fan favorite and a marketing dream. Her raw, unfiltered content doesn't just engage audiences, it builds them. Brands are lining up to partner with athletes like her because people crave realness, not rehearsed sound bites. So, the WNBA finds itself in a paradox. The league wants growth, buzz, and fan connection. And yet, it's punishing the very behavior that fuels that momentum. Sophie's viral TikTok drew over 1.2 million views, engagement that would cost tens of thousands in a traditional ad campaign. The league's response? A fine. The irony is staggering. This isn't just about one video. It's about the message being sent, and the precedent being set. If a player can be fined for vague criticism that included no insults, no names, no profanity, what can't they be fined for? Will others now hesitate before sharing an honest thought? Will players retreat behind bland PR-safe statements to avoid penalties? That fear could put a chokehold on the very authenticity that has driven the WNBA's recent rise. Sophie's continued willingness to speak out suggests this battle is far from over, and it's not just about her anymore. She's standing up for every player who wants to connect, vent, joke, or criticize without getting a bill from league headquarters. And fans have noticed. They've rallied around her with overwhelming support. Posts defending Sophie have gone viral. Hashtags criticizing the league's priorities trended for days. The message from the public is loud and clear. Players like Cunningham aren't liabilities, they're the lifeblood of the sport's cultural relevance. Even sponsors are starting to take notice. These are the companies pouring millions into the league because of its unique, relatable personalities and booming social media presence. Now, they're watching as the league finds the exact behavior that makes its stars marketable. Behind closed doors, tough questions are being asked. How can a league grow while penalizing its most engaging voices? Sophie's next move could be career-defining. Will she keep pushing boundaries, even if every post risks another fine? Will she become a leader in demanding changes to how the league handles speech and media? Or will she find clever ways to sidestep restrictions while still delivering her message loud and clear? One thing's for sure, there's no turning back now. Sophie has tasted the power of authentic expression, and that kind of impact doesn't just fade away. The movement she's ignited is already spreading, whispers in locker rooms, players gaining courage, and a growing realization that silence is no longer the safe or smart choice. This $500 moment may end up costing the league far more than they expected, or it could spark a change that saves it from its own outdated playbook. Because this isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about power, voice, and the future of athlete expression in a digital world. Sophie Cunningham didn't just take a stand, she made a statement. And now, every player, every fan, and every executive is watching what happens next. The revolution in women's basketball isn't just happening under the lights, it's happening in comment sections, TikTok threads, and the fearless voices of athletes who refuse to be silenced. Sophie's not just leading that charge. She's funding it, $500 at a time. So what do you think? Was the league right to fine Sophie for speaking her mind? Or is the WNBA protecting referees at the expense of its own players? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if you stand with athlete expression. Subscribe for more sharp takes on stories shaking up the sports world. And hit the bell, because this saga? It's far from over. Sometimes, speaking the truth costs you. In Sophie Cunningham's case, the bill was $500. But the value? It might just be